Vitrag, Paramatma Mahavir ne Naman. I bow to Reverend Gurudev, brothers and sisters. After a 3 weeks break, again we are resuming Bhaktamara. Today we have sixth slok. Sixth slok. अल्पश्रुतं श्रुतवतां परिहासधाम त्वाद्भक्तिरेव मुखरी कुरुते बलान् माम् यत् कोकिलः किलमधौ मधुरं विरौति तच्चारु चाम्रकलिका निकरैकहेतुः. O Lord, despite of my incompetence and being a subject of mockery for competent scholars and intellectuals, I will nonetheless praise and compose in the stuti of Lord Rishabha. The cuckoo sings only after the mango trees bear the sprouts, and this voice became melodious only after eating those sprouts. Clearly, mango sprouts are the cause of melodious voice of cuckoo. Similarly, you are the cause of my devotion that has led me to create, to compose a poetry in your praise. So this is the word meaning. You know, there are many elements which include the whole power at one level. Our physical energy, our intense state of emotion, that does also create energy. As you know, if someone is intense state of anger, different energy. If someone is in different type of emotion of love, that is different energy. And there is one emotion that is devotion, and a kind of pure, purest state of love, and that is also a different energy. When we have different emotion, and at that time our adrenal glands secretes hormones, making a person bold and competing with anything, or this is the power of emotion. So here the power of specific power of devotion. The poet Acharya Mantum says, "O Lord, I am not so powerful." Why? As you know, the very important term, Alpashrutam. Two important terms. So first term is Shrut. Out of 5 types of knowledge, there are 5 types of knowledge. According to Jain epistemology, 5 types of knowledge. And the first knowledge is Mati Gyan, which is related to mind and senses. And the second type of knowledge, that is Shruta Gyan. And Shruta Gyan, which is articulate knowledge, means one can recite, one can speak, one can deliver, and one can like express all the communication we are doing today. Suppose I am speaking to you, that is also Shruta Gyan. And when we have specific conference, specific deliverance. At that time also we need Shruta Gyan. If we try to communicate or we appear in Vaiva, that is also Shruta Gyan. But sometimes we have to assimilate the things. So assimilation of things, reading yourself, that is inside your, so you repeating, you contemplating, that is matiyan, you understanding, or you analyzing in your mind, that is your matiyan. But when you analyze in front of someone, when you speak with someone, when you express yourself with someone, at that time, that is Shruta Gyan. And you know, very popularly, Shruta Gyan is related to Shrot. Shrot means Shrotendriya, our ears. So the old tradition during the ancient time, as whatever we listen, we make our notes, we record, we do so many things. But during the time of Bhagavan Mahavir, all knowledge was oral, all knowledge was Shruta Gyan. So he used to speak, and Gandhar also, they try to listen and assimilate and then kept in their memory. So that knowledge is Shruta Gyan. But there are so many types of Shruta Gyan, and specific type of Shruta Gyan is Shruti Gyan, which is the part of Atma. But Shruta Gyan is also related to our own different type of uh, articulation, and when we use Shruta Gyan in different way and we try to explain each other, that is also Shruta Gyan. And Shruta Gyan also based on different type of other articulation. So Shruta Gyan is sometimes based on some sort of outer indicator. And suppose if you are on airport and there is an arrow, and you are somewhere else where you don't understand the language, at that time you try to understand through the arrow, and you understand, okay, okay, I have to go this side, I have to take this type of bus, or this type of a car or train. So you understand by the pictorial quality. So Shruta Gyan is also related to different type of objects, like any indicator, any type of um, picture, or any type of sign. Everything is related to Shruta Gyan. And Shruta Gyan is very important for communicating and passing the knowledge to each other. And that's why it is, I can think it is very important for helping the tradition. Without Shruta Gyan, nobody can share their knowledge to each other. Though writing is one thing, but communicating to other, that is very, very important in the field of Shruta Gyan. So Shruta Gyan has many types. Suyananam mahiddiye kevalam tadanantaram appanam sesaganam jamha paribhagam. Yani the knowledge which is uh, taken through the ear. But who is listening? There is one listener, and that is our soul. Without soul, in a dead body, ears are there. But knowledge, as you know, knowledge is very important quality of the soul. In Acharang Sutra, Je Aya Se Vinaya. The Atma is knowledge, and knowledge is Atma. So who is listening there? Though the outer device we need. Without device, suppose we don't have this hardware, we cannot upload software. So hardware is important. Some people, they are well and good, but might their drum inside the ear is not working properly, or there is a hole in the drum, so they cannot listen. Atma is inside the body. So two important factor for the Sruta Gyan. One need the outer organs as well as the Atma. In a dead body, organs are available, but there is no Atma. But when Atma and organ both have a synchronicity, so that is the way to listen to get. So Shruti Gyan is also important part of our Atma, because it is not the full-fledged knowledge. As you know, the full-fledged knowledge, when it happens like Keval Gyan, at that time we don't need any outer support, no need of indriyas, no need of mind. But before that we need it, and therefore Shruti Gyan is very, very important and very simple. Jam sunai tam suyam bhanai. The knowledge which is listen, that is Shruta Gyan. And in Nandi Sutra there is lot more explanation and deep um, explanation of an interpretation of Shruta Gyan. So Shruta Gyan is always after Mati Gyan. So after Mati Gyan means without Indriyas and senses and mind, Shruta Gyan is not possible. As I mentioned, the raw material is collected by the sense organs. So very importantly, Shruti Gyan is always after Mati Gyan. Without Mati Gyan, you cannot have Shruti Gyan. So Shruti Gyan, there are so many types of Shruti Gyan. Sometimes it is based on the books. Sometimes it is based on the various other aspect, like as I mentioned, that outer help is also important. So I'm not going in much more detail of the Shrutigyan. That could be hours and hours, but at least you can have that idea, the knowledge which is passing through the ears, and that is Shrutagyan. And that articulate knowledge has two types, yani Alpashrutam. The slok 6 started with Alpashrutam. Alpashrutam is one who possesses less knowledge. And there are two important terms, Alpashruta and Bahushruta. Alp, the term Alp means less, but it is not a total negation. There is always knowledge. In Nandi Sutra, important Gatha is uh, the Atma has 8 Ruchak Pradesh. Atma has its units, and all 8 units are always uncovered by the karma. If they are covered, then there is no line of living and non-living. So Alpashrutam, even a living being in the form of Prithvikai, earth-bodied, Apkai, water-bodied, uh, Vayukai, air-bodied, Vanaspatikai, greenery body, and Traskai, as minute living beings. So even any form, any life form, there is knowledge, and therefore Alpa Shrutam. So Alp is not Agyan. Agyan means no, it is little Gyan. Gyan is there. Maybe it is not Samyak. As you know, all the Sthavar Kayas have a Samyak knowledge, or therefore Alpashrutam. Acharya Mantung himself accept, O Lord, I am a Alpashrut person. I don't have full-fledged knowledge. And there is the other term, Bahushrut. Bahushrut means one who has listened a lot, and therefore Bahushrut term is used for the acharyas, for the munis, for the sadhus and sadhvis. Even a Sravak can be Bahushrut. Normally, this title is attached because it is coming from the tradition. So Bahushrut Acharya, Bahushrut Muni is well-known popular epithet for them because at that time there was no book, no pen, nothing to write, and therefore whatever they hold the knowledge is just through their ears. So they are known as Bahushrut. And in technically, the term Bahushrut is one who has knowledge of Purvas, one who has the knowledge of 32 agmas or 45 agmas or 84 agmas. Means different tradition believe in different type of agmas and different numbers of agmas. So that person is known as Bahushrut. Also, those who have deep knowledge of Chhed Sutras, they are also known as technically Bahushruta. So, mainly one who has listened a lot and observed a lot, chewed and digest the knowledge, that person is known as Bahushruta. Bahushruta is very, very important, and a person who is Bahushruta, he can take the Jainism in next level, their knowledge into next level. So, Alpashrutam and Bahushrutam. So here Acharya Mantung accept himself, Alpashrutam. And oh Lord, still I want to do more. What he want to do more? He want to compose a poetry, and for that, composition of poetry is not easy to compose anytime. Some people have specific time and they compose it. So, some can compose in the morning time, some can compose at evening time, and some has a spontaneous overflow of feelings and emotions, so they can compose anytime. So it depends on what is their way, and when their intense feeling or emotions are there, they can compose because poetry is a part of emotion. So now at this stage, Acharya Mantu says, "Oh Lord, now I have lots more emotions and the positive emotion of devotion, and I would like to compose a poetry." And there is some story goes on that sometime in the emotion, intense emotion don't have eyes. So emotion also need a filter set of the intellectual power. So I fondly remember an anecdote of poet Bharvi. He composed one slok, Sahasa Vidadhita Nakriyam. We should never act on our impulses. So we should also involve our intellectual power. So once what happened, he was a very important poet in the Indian poetry, Sanskrit poetry. So he was lying on his deathbed, and great poet Bharvi asked his son, now the time has come, and I am leaving this body. Before I leave this world and this body, I would like to give a small asset. Keep it nicely. And he wrote a stanza on a slip of paper and handed over to his son, saying, if you get any financial problem, uh, at that time, you can sell this stanza in 1 lakh rupees. This is its price. You know, time is moving cycle. It is not keeping the same status of anybody. Vartana Lakshano Kala, famous sutra from Tattvartha Sutra, which is always moving or always changing the modes of jiva and ajiva. That is time. So modes are constantly changing. The substance is same, but the modes and qualities are changeable. So at that time, after some year, Bhairavi passed away and a difficult time came. His son lost his all property. He has nothing to survive. And at that difficult moment, he just recollected, oh, my father left one asset for me. So let me go and sell that verse. So he took that verse and he went to the market, and there is a one specific market where the king has assured everybody that during the day, whatever you want to sell, you sell. If anything left over, I will buy on the market price. So many people approached, they read the slok, but nobody tried to buy it because it was so costly, 1 lakh rupees. So people came, seen, returned, came, seen. After some time, the evening approached, and some people from King's Court visited there, and whatever left over, they say, what is left over? Only one item, and but it is very precious, like a diamond or gem. But anyhow, it was court's rule, so they bought it and handed him over 1 lakh rupees, and they offered to the king, and king read it, and what he did, he framed it nicely in a golden frame and nicely written in the golden ink, Sahasa Vidhita Nakriyam. After doing this, he hanged it in his bedroom and right at the center of his bed in his back, and he felt it, okay, it is real like a gem. And soon after that, king had to travel abroad, and he traveled, but the travel became 12 years long. When he returned from abroad, the dark night, and he thought, let me see how my queen is doing. So, without any information, he went to his palace and went nearby his bedroom and just peeped inside through the window, and there was a light, like very dim light lamp was on the side of the bed, and he see, oh, my queen is sleeping with a young man. Who is that young man? Might be his boyfriend, someone. How she can dare to sleep like this in king's chamber? Who is that person? He became so angry, furious, and curious. And suddenly he put his hand on his sword and took out his sword from the set. And soon he reached inside the bedroom. As soon as he reached, He wanted to kill them, but his hands gone up and he saw on the backside of the bed, Sahasa Vidadhita Nakriyam. So he stopped there and he asked his wife, Queen, and she woke up. And she was so happy and she hugged him. But King was so furious. So, what are you doing? No. Who is that young man? Then she smiled. Oh, you forgot? She is your daughter. Last night, she was taking part in a drama and she played the role of a king. So she dressed up as a king. And when she returned at late night, she was slept as it is because she was so sleepy and not removed the makeup and costumes. So she looking like a prince, but she is your daughter. And then she asked her, and she woke up and she touched the feet of his father. When this happened, the king overwhelmed and said, while buying this verse, I had thought that it was wasting 1 lakh rupees on a small, worthless line. But today I have understood this is a priceless verse. It has saved me from a great tragedy. So, you know, our intellectual power, our indriya knowledge has a limit, but the wisdom from ages is limitless. So, Acharya Mantung assured himself, my devotion is high. Though I have less intellectual power, I, I am capable and I can tap into my inner power of devotion. And through the elevated devotion, I can compose a nice poetry, reaching beyond the limit of intellectual power. I can tap into the initial internal emotion, and that is also my power. Devotion is my power. So, Alpashrutam Srutavatam Parihasadhame. Oh Lord, I get disturbed, but I'm not. I'm taking your devotion. It is like the sprouts of the mango, which create a sonorous voice in the throat of a cuckoo. Similarly, it is very important for me that your devotion on the vehicle of devotion, I can travel far. So, intellect and emotion both have their limitation. The state of intense emotion stimulate the functioning of the inner organs of the body. It is essential to evaluate our emotion. Great poet Bhairavi said, Sahasa vidhita nakriyam. We should never act on our impulses and only on the emotions. Acharya Mantung realized that mere devotion is not enough to compose a poetry in your praise. We need the intellectual power also. As King said in this story, while buying this verse, I had thought that I was wasting 1 lakh for worthless thing. But today I have understood that this verse is priceless. So wisdom from ages, wisdom from Tirthankaras are really priceless. It has saved a great tragedy and great hinsa. So, reaching behind the limit of initial conflict of emotion and intellect. Acharya Mantung became completely absorbed and wrote Bhaktamara Stotra. This sloka is very, very important. For what? This sloka is very important for increasing our knowledge power, and really many more people got benefited. It is my duty to work for JVB, and you believe or not, but almost 2 to 300 people get benefit for this personal consultation. Samniji, I have exam, I have GCSE, I have A level, O level, university, and interviews, work interviews, and also people, those who are struggling. Oh, I failed this exam, and again I'm appearing, and my mindset is really, really different. I feel so low, or sometimes I get like people who are topper in their exams and in their certification, but they feel so nervous while speaking in front of somebody. And still, I remember when first time I have to deliver one speech, I felt my legs are getting crumbs and trembling. And when I recited the initial uh, like few uh, Sambodhan only, and then I thought, oh, whole lecture is wiped out from my mind. So it happened because it's all intellectual things are not in the same level, because Shruta Gyan is Kshayopshamik Gyan, and therefore we need practice, practice, practice makes a man perfect. We need practice, but sometimes the rising state of Jnana Varniya Karma also uh, creating some problem for people. So the slok number 6 is like a important tool for those who want to enhance their knowledge capacity, intellectual power. So I have given many boys and girls and also uh, young people for their interviews, and they constantly doing this. Alpashrutam Shrutavatam Parihasadhame Tvad Bhakti Reva Mukhari Kurute Balan Mam Yat Ko Kila Madhu Maduram Virauti Tacharu Chamra Kalika Nikarai Kahetu. O Lord, the word meaning Alpashrutam, with limited knowledge, Srutavatam, among the learned people, Parihasadhame, object of ridicule, Mam, me, Tvad Bhakti, your devotion, Balat, forcefully, Mukhuri Kurute, makes me speak, uh, uh, कोकिला है kukko, like a kukko, madhu, during the spring, yat madhuram, speak melodiously, viroti, sings, that, uh, kill, means with certainty, amr, mango. So again, we all are at the season of mango, and it is time that mango sprouts are there and mangoes are there. People come in mango gochari. So it is very, very important. Okay, this slok we can use to enhance and improve our intellectual power. JB is really, really lucky that today small girl Archita completed her Bhaktamal 6 year old. So 6 years, 7 years, so many people, and even 85 year, 90 years old, they are also learning Bhaktamar. So whatever you share with other, that is also important. Vidya, विभव उत्तंग कुल और सुजस संसार, देये बिन नहीं पाइये बड़े रतन हैं चार. Vidya, if you can't share, you can't get. Vibhav, वैभव means prosperity. So दो हाथों से दान करते हैं, 100 हाथों से पाते हैं. हे प्रभु, आपके हाथ तो 1000 हैं. और उत्तम कुल और सुजस. If you don't appreciate other, nobody is going to appreciate you. So very important. So these 4 jewels, if you share with others, you will get back. शास्त्र दान दीन्यो नहीं, किम उचरे मुख चैन, पुनि विद्या पावे कहाँ, खरसम चिंतवे नैन. So even helping others for the study and doing good donation of knowledge, that is also a kind of donation. So Gyan Dan is Mahan Dan, and Shastra Dan, someone support for their study, people study, those who are really needy. Or I still remember I completed my master's, my PhD, because here in universities, nobody can go without paying for the fee. And we are lucky that Jain Vishwabharati University in the world is the such first university. And there we have a specific like cell that all monks and nuns, they are Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, Jain, Svetambar, Digambar, Deravasi, Terapanthi, Stanakwasi. This is amazing university, and more than 1,000 monks and nuns. They did their bachelor degree, their master's degree, their PhD, ME, MPhil, so many degrees, and from all sort, all sects. They completed their degree without a single penny. And it is Jain Vishwabharati University is doing this. And from all tradition, monks and nuns, they are doing their degrees. So I kept that thought in my mind. And when I visited UK, I just inquired, is there anything that the university can support nuns? And they say, no, this is not possible. You are like other students. For us, university can't run. Then I told, look, we have Jain Vishwabharati University, and in our university, we have free of cost education for monks and nuns, because Jain monks and nuns in the world, they don't have any money, any sort of uh, like thing they can keep for them. So they just every day they get food and their necessity from the householders. So when she heard, she said, oh, amazing, we don't have this facility here. So really, Jain Vishwabharati University is doing a great work for this type of way. And also many Sravak and Shravikas, they can support for this great cause, because Amma Piu Samana, Sravak and Shravikas are like mother and father for us. So again, I would like to conclude. Alpashrutam Shrutavatam Parihasidham Tvad-bhakti rev mukhuri kurute balanmam yat kila madhau madhuram virauti ताचारु चाम्रकलिका निकरैक हेतु Om Arham. Now lecture is over, and if you have any question, feel free and unmute yourself and ask questions.
Mandavinam Sami Samniji.
Om.
The question is about the 8 space point you mentioned, the uncovered space points.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more, please?
Yeah. Each and every soul has 8 Ruchak Pradesh. They are known as Ruchak Pradesh. And they are specific points nearby our heart. It is like according to Nandi Sutra and other. So these are always uncovered. If these are covered, then there will be no demarcation line of living being and non-living being. So
Okay.
yeah, so that much knowledge, a light of knowledge is always there in all types of living beings.
Okay, so there is no karmic vargana there.
Oh, and yeah, that is always uncovered.
Okay.
Nichu ghadiyo, important term is Nichu ghadiyo. Nichu ghadiyo means Nitya Udghatit. That portion is always uncovered.
Okay. And secondly, you know, our soul carries knowledge. We are all knowledge.
Mhm.
Is that the Shrut knowledge we carry? Our soul.
In our normal condition, like you and me and men, all we people, so we
Mm,
at least have mati gyan and shruti gyan, at least. But at the moment, we don't have avadhi gyan. We
mm.
don't have manaparyav gyan. We don't have keval gyan. So therefore, very, very important that mati shrut will be there. But for the Prithvi Kai, Up Kai, Tejas Kai, Vayu Kai, Vanaspati Kai, they are because they are in mithyatva, and therefore they have mati agyan, shruta agyan.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
Nandani Swamiji,
Yes, Bansibai?
you mentioned that knowledge is transferred through hardware, like we either ears or through eyes or something for humans. But we know that Mahavir Swami transferred knowledge to, or we have heard, he transferred knowledge to Gautam Swami uh, from mind to mind. So they didn't use any of those other normal visual kind of indriyas. So I guess what I don't understand is the mind, which is that like an indriya in that case, which is
Mind also sixth sense. Mind also sixth sense. Um, like 5 indriyas, and it is a extra thing. But where is there any authentic quote where you quoting from that without speaking he transferred knowledge mind to mind?
I just I think it was in the one book I read. Was it Tattva Sutra?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember now. It was very long time, maybe
It,
10 years ago. I read it somewhere that the Gautam Swami received knowledge because Mahavir Bhagwan wasn't speaking apparently, so he was just receiving knowledge either through his presence or telepathically, or I don't know how he was receiving the knowledge.
I think, yeah, Bansipai, some popular discourses. So in popular discourses, we use something, but in an authentic way, it was Gautam Swami. He was always there when Bhagwan Mahavir did his Samavasaran, all Desnas. So he was always there from right of the beginning and till end Nirvana of Mahavir. So whatever Mahavir, yes, Gandharaj have very specific high intellectual quality, and whatever they listen first, they just absorb like anything. So that is okay. But this type of like they transmuted and some popular discourses. Yeah.
Okay. Umaram.
So Adi want to say something? Are Adinath? Okay. So we are doing Mangal part. Chattari Mangalam, Arahanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Pannato Dhammo Mangalam. Chattari Loguttama, Arahanta Loguttama, Siddha Loguttama, Sahu Loguttama, Kevali Pannato Dhammo Loguttamo. Chattari Saranam Pavajjami, Arahante Saranam Pavajjami, Siddhe Saranam Pavajjami, Sahu Saranam Pavajjami, Kevali Pannatang Dhammang Saranam Pavajjami, Vighan Haran Mangal Karan, Swam Bhikshuno Nam, Gun Olak Samran Kiya, Sari Achintya Kam, Anguthe Amarit Base, Labditana Bhandar, Shri Guru Gotam Samariye, Manvanchit Phaladatar, Siddh Sadhu Pranami Kari, Rishabhadik 24, स्तवना करूं प्रमोद धरी जय जसकर जगदीश जय जसकर जगदीश जय जसकर जगदीश today's lecture we specially did in the remembrance of Srimati Sair Devi Choradia. Yesterday was her Punya Tithi, second Tithi, and therefore today's lecture in her memory, and we wish her always spiritual progress in her life, and wherever she is, just doing one logos for the peace of her soul. Logas ujjo yagare dhamma tithayare jine arhante kittaisam chauvi sampi kevali O sabhamajiyam cha vande sambhavamabhinandanam cha sumayim cha paumapaham supasam jinam cha chandapaham vande suvihim cha pupphadantam Siyal sijjans vasupujjam cha Vimalamanantam cha jinam dhammu santim cha vandami kunthum aram cha mallim Vande muni subbayam namijinam cha vandami ritthaneming pasam tah vadhamanam cha evam maye abhithuva vihuyaramalapahin jar marina chauvi sampijinavara tithayara me vasiyantu kittiyavandiyamaye je logassa uttama siddha आरुग्यबोहिलाभम् समाहि वरमुत्तमं दिन्तु चन्देषु निम्मलयरा आयिचेषु अहियम्पयासयरा सागरवरगम्भीरा सिद्धा सिद्धिं मम दिशन्तु सिद्धा सिद्धिं मम दिशन्तु तो हम उन्हें सेंटर की माँ के रूप में देखते थे, जेवीबी लंदन सेंटर की माँ के रूप में तो उनकी पुण्य स्मृति में ओम शांति ही, ओम शांति ही, ओम शांति। आज के लिए कोई भी एक वस्तु का धारणा प्रमाणे त्याग करेंगे और साथ में ही आज शाम को चौमासी पक्षी का प्रतिक्रमण है। तो चौमासी पक्षी का प्रतिक्रमण ठीक 6:30 शुरू हो जाएगा। तो आप लोग